are menage a trois and there are menage a trois. This is a pretty interesting three-way that we've arranged. We've got the brand new BMW X5, we've got the Desert Storm winning Polaris RZR 900, and we've got a Rally Gypsy. Now this is going to be a shootout with a difference. We've got a 3.5 kilometer dirt track and we're going to pit these three up against one another. Now the X5, which is the most powerful and the most expensive of the lot, is actually the underdog. We've got the Polaris that can go over any terrain on planet Earth. And we've got the Rally Gypsy, which is like a mountain goat and really comes alive on the dirt. Now the X5 is absolutely brand spanking new. It looks fantastic, it looks really in your face. It's an evolution of the design, but it's much more aggressive. It's also a little bit bigger. What's worrying at the moment though is that the rear tires are 315/35 ZR20s, not exactly suited to the dirt. So we'll have to be a little careful with this one. The Polaris, as I said, can go over any terrain that you can throw at it. So it's going to be really entertaining. The Gypsy and I go back a long way. This is my old Rally Gypsy in which I've done 3 Raid de Himalayas, a Desert Storm and various other rallies. It's been completely transformed by Akhil Ghai of Team Winning Wheels, and I'm really looking forward to getting back behind the wheel. So let's take these 3 out and see how they do on the dirt. So, this is the 3rd machine that I've driven so far, and it's the only machine in which I can do a video and talk to you from inside the cabin. It's also the only machine in which I've got air conditioning and I've got all the comforts that I could possibly need to drive cross country from here. So I can go out, have a little bit of fun in the dirt, and then drive across the country in absolute sheer comfort. So we need to give this car a little bit of credit for its versatility. Now the Polaris is absolutely a purpose-built machine. It is an incredible off-road machine. It'll eat up the dirt trails, it'll go up and down the mountains, it's got huge articulation, it's got great ground clearance, it's got these massive sidewalls on the tires, and it can just drive over anything. But it's also got a fantastic chassis underneath it. It's got no mass whatsoever. It's got no overhangs. It's got the 4 wheels at the absolute 4 corners of the chassis. So you turn the steering wheel and it just responds. We did a couple of quick laps in the Polaris and you can just turn the wheel and steer the car with the brakes and the throttle. I mean, with the throttle more than the brakes, you barely even need to touch the brakes. It's a little bit rough, as you may have just noticed. So, you know, we're going to go a little easy in this car because it is plenty expensive. Not this easy, as easy as we're doing right now. We're just doing a little bit of a siding lap and a little bit of a recce. And there are a couple of decent straights, and this car has incredible power. The 3-liter diesel engine, the turbocharged BMW diesel, and the 8-speed automatic gearbox in this car is the absolute best engine gearbox combination. It is the best powertrain that you could possibly have in a vehicle to drive on a daily basis, as well as have a little bit of fun in. It's got so much torque, it's got so much seamless power. The gearbox is sensational, as we've always said about the 8-speed ZF gearbox that's in this car. It's just a really great machine, and the X5 is the car that coined the phrase for BMW sports activity vehicle. So they took away the sports utility element of this car, and they very much positioned it as a sports activity vehicle. The first gen X5 is the car that spawned the trend of these on-road SUVs, if you will. It's the car that drove better on the road than off the road. It's the car that proved that SUVs could be really nice to drive on the road. They could be civilized, they could have a nice ride, they could have decent power, they could actually handle. It had the BMW traits of a chassis that really, really handled. And this is another brand new generation on the same theme. So there's no off-road mode, there's no suspension that gets raised to clear too many obstacles. It's got a great four-wheel drive system, so it'll clear most every obstacle. It'll pull you out of most every situation. It is more suited towards being on-road. It's got massive Lamborghini-sized rear wheels and tires on this car. It's got these beautiful aluminium suspension arms, and it is just a great, great car to drive on the road. In the Gypsy, I was just being flung up and down. Now, as I mentioned, I've sold the car, so the seating position is a racing driver excuse coming up, disclaimer. The seat is positioned for someone who's much larger than I am, and I was just flying around in the cabin of that car. I could barely reach the pedals and the steering wheel, and I certainly couldn't position myself in the seat. The Gypsy is, well, it's like a horse cart on wheels with an engine. It's very, very old school. The reason that we still use it for rallying, especially in the north, is because the terrain is so rough, and you can mend the Gypsy with a hammer. Firstly, there's very, very little in that car that breaks because, well, it has very few components in it, really. It's got a ladder frame chassis. It's got the most absolute bare basic suspension setup that you could possibly imagine. It also has a pretty decent four-wheel drive system, albeit very primitive, but it's just an absolutely unbreakable machine, and on the dirt, it really, really comes alive. So clearly the Polaris is the quickest of the lot. The next in line is the Gypsy, I would imagine, just by virtue of the fact that it can really, really take a beating. We're going to see what we can do in the BMW, but we're going to do it with an element of caution and discretion, because we don't want to destroy a car that is really very, very expensive. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, but we're not going to go over the top. This is clearly the most superior machine of the lot, but it's also the biggest and the heaviest, and the mass really, really tells. So let's get out there, see what happens. So we're on the start line. Not much to do other than to put it in manual mode. The DSC, of course, is off, and let's go for it. So great surge of power off the line, and immediately you just want to be careful of these bumps. We were doing a couple of power slides for the camera, and I have to tell you, this car is the one that power slid the best. It's the one where you got the back out much wider than any of the others, because when you ask for the power, it can be rear biased. And it's good fun too, and it's got a lot of grunt. It's got a lot of grunt coming out of the corners, and the chassis is just willing to go with the power. I'm whispering because I'm hoping it helps me not go into every single dip and bump in the road. I'm a little on edge, as you can see. You gotta be careful. I don't want to be paying for this X5. Oof. It's got the power, and it's got a lot of grip. These tires may be road biased, but the footprint is so wide that it really does have a lot of grip. So there you have it, folks. 329.9. I think it was a 248.5 in the Polaris and a 312 in the Gypsy. But I can tell you, that this was a lot more fun than I thought it would be.